Yes, let's get started.
So very good morning to one and all present here. Myself, Mayank Chordia, will be the moderator for today's webinar. First of all, I would like to thank each and everyone for joining today's session. I am very much pleased to welcome you all on behalf of Student Alumni Relations Cell VIIT to this webinar, which is organized in association with WOW. The topic for today's webinar is Journey from VIIT to Getting Placed in Amazon Web Service, and also some of the important tips for interview preparation. The speaker for today's session is none other than Miss Mansi Mehrotra. She is alumni of VIIT College, passed out of 2015 batch from CS branch, and has done her MS from University of Washington in Information Management. She is currently working as data engineer at Amazon Web Service at San Francisco. Thank you very much, ma'am, for taking time out and being here today. We all are very curious to know your whole journey from VIIT to getting placed in AWS. Meanwhile, if any attendees have questions during the session, please type them in the chat box. We will have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. Now, Mansi ma'am will guide us. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayank, for a lovely introduction. And hello, everyone, all of the attendees and our panelists today. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to connect with all of my juniors. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. What I'm going to do today is I've tried to put together something based off of my experience that I have found valuable, which I want to share with you. It's a little bit of motivation. It's a little bit of what you should and shouldn't do. And then I'll definitely talk about my journey. And then, like Mayank mentioned, just feel free to keep dropping your questions in the chat. And then I'll try and be quick with the presentation so we can leave more and more time for all of your questions. Cool. So if no one has any questions, then I'm going to get started. I just need one of you to confirm that you're able to see my screen. That's all.
Yes, it's visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this excited person that you are seeing in this presentation is me when I was a student, when I had just graduated from VIIT. Like Mayank said, I completed my bachelor's in computer science from VIIT. I graduated in 2015, and I went on to work for a company called ViewClip as a product manager for 3 years. In 2018, I came here to the United States to pursue my master's. And then in 2020, I graduated from the University of Washington with my master's in information management. And ever since I've graduated, I've been working with AWS as a data engineer. And that's someplace I always wanted to be. Whether it was in our 11th and 12th when we were introduced to informatics, or it was the database related subjects at VIIT, or my specialization in UW. University of Washington is UW, so if you hear me say that, you can know. I was always intrigued by that field, and that was the career I wanted for myself. So I'm happy to be here today. And I'm going to try and guide you from all aspects, but if you are especially interested in this field, or you need more guidance in specific to data engineering or analysis or data science and that kind of a universe, then I might be a little better at answering your questions. Okay, so like I said, I graduated in 2015, but I mostly like to be associated with the schools I went to, because I think the companies that we join, we keep changing. Today we're working for one, tomorrow we move on in life, and things just keep happening. But the thing that always remains constant is the place where we get our education. So I think my identity is VIIT and the University of Washington. So that's how I like to portray myself. I'm going to get started, but these are just some places you can reach me at. If after the presentation you have more questions, or you need some guidance, or you didn't understand something, just feel free to drop me a ping. Okay, so let's see. I have to give a disclaimer. I made this in a short period, and take every slide with a pinch of salt, basically. So this is what I think is first year to fourth year's journey. What I want to do is, I don't know you guys, what is your background, and there's so many of you I cannot really ask you in person. who is doing what, which year, and everything. But based off of my experience, what I try to do here is your journey coming from the first year when you joined all the way till you graduate, and the decisions that you make in the middle. Some things that I think you should focus at certain times of your life is what I've tried to note down here. How many people are here from the first year? Is there anyone from the first year? Okay, so we have someone from first. Do we have any second year students? Okay, third. Like, can you just like write the number you're from so I kind of get an idea? Third, okay. And then anyone from final? FY means final? Okay, never mind. Okay, cool. Thank you guys for sharing your years in the chat. Now let's quickly go through the slide and why I thought it was important to put this together. So for the first year students, you guys are just, like getting started. So this is the time when you need to kind of mold yourself. You need to identify your strengths. You need to start networking as soon as possible and as much as you can. Extra ECA is extracurricular, so you need to participate in extracurriculars as much as you can. You need to find the right spots to eat because you're going to be doing that for 4 years. You have to study a lot, and you have to emphasize on having one hobby. It can be sports, music, whatever you want it to be, but there absolutely has to be something that you are doing outside of college with or without the same group of people that you hang out with. And then for the second year, because you're now in your specialization, you kind of know the path that you're going to be taking. I think you need to start building up your profile. So hackathons, the extracurriculars that you participated in the first, it's time to own events. So basically try and get that sense of ownership that I need to be more confident, and you can only get that when you own something. So start owning things. At my, like when I was a student, we had Perception, Gandharva, EDC, and like a bunch of things. I personally was involved with EDC, and I think EDC has completely shaped the kind of person I am. So try and see if you guys can go and own some positions there. The next thing that you need to do is absolutely talk to your teachers. Like, I was very lucky that all 4 years I had the best set of teachers. So whether it was formal or informal, professional or personal, I think there is always something that your teachers can guide you at. And even if they can't, like they don't have an answer for you, it's just good to be in touch with them, because down the line, when you have some questions or concerns about your future, they are going to be your go-to people. So try and be close to your teachers. Your second year, you have chosen a specialization. You are going to be sticking to it. So go and find an internship. Internships are super, super important. If you want to make it out there big, you need to know what corporate culture and corporate ethics are. So go and find yourself an internship. Study hard, and then don't forget that hobby that you picked up or you always had, and just keep pursuing it. It's a lot, but you can do it. And then in the third year, I think the third year, in my opinion, was the most crucial year. So for third year students, you have owned things, you have figured out your specialization, you are kind of on the right track and you know where you're headed. So now is the time to start leading things. Leadership qualities are developed over time, whether it is communication skills, whether it is how to handle things in an emergency. Things like that, they only come when you're actually working with a group of people and guiding them. So start leading events, start getting noticed. This is also the time that you need to start thinking academically outside of the school universe. You need to start giving aptitude tests. Aptitude tests are more like, they will be useful whether you decide to do further studies, whether you decide to find a job, even if you want to take a year's gap and you just want to keep your mind sharp and you want to keep it engaged. So your aptitude tests are a must. If you are interested in further studies, then this is the year that you're going to be preparing. So whatever, if you want to, then now's the time. Here is the time to start. Find yourself a second internship, if possible, closer on the research side. So in your second year, you're perhaps very new and naive and just trying to get a hand of things. But in the third year, you have better control of your life, especially your student life, your academic life. So now is the time you can not just focus professionally, you can focus on research, figure out why things are the way they are, pick up a topic that you enjoy and try and dive deep into it. You should have a good balance of research and academics and like work. Just because when you go out in the market as a potential student for a university, or you go as a potential candidate for a job, you need to show that balance. You need to show that no matter what kind of work you're given, you can take care of it. So research. Also start figuring out, if you want to take the path of getting a job, start finding which companies you want to work for. There's always going to be companies that come on campus, and those are definitely, they should be your priority, but it doesn't mean that the world ends there. There's so much more beyond it that you might not have heard of companies. There are startups that are hiring, things like that. So research the companies that you want to work for, see the kind of money you want to make, and kind of see if you're able to map the work, the money, the ethics of the company and everything, and if it all works out well for you. And study, study, study. So it's a lot, but it's doable because there is just so much energy in the third year. And then like the final year is like, BE project and like a bunch of things. So there you kind of have to start narrowing down what you are doing and start, like going really deep into it. So your BE project is your priority. I know of people who try and give it away, and like sometimes have people like do their BE project for them in return for money or something. You don't want to go that route. You want to own that BE project. Even if you end up with a group which is not very active, or you're the one that you feel is doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the project, things like that should never cross your mind as being a hurdle. Own your BE project, and trust me, for at least 2 or 3 years after you graduate, it's going to be the biggest thing on your resume. So it has to be spot on. So your BE project, very important. Try and see if you can find a company that sponsors. If you can find someone, two benefits. One, if you need anything for your project, finances are taken care of. Two, mentorship. Like the company and some mentor will be assigned from that company who's going to go and help you out with the project. So see if you can take that route. The next thing is, now you are 4 years into your engineering. It is time that you are able to communicate. And when I say communication, it's two things. It's one, your fluency, but second, your technicality. Because by now people kind of assume that you have reached a certain level. There is a certain way you should speak. You need to use certain terms in your whether it's an interview or your documentation that you do, whatever it is. So your communication, both written, both verbal, technical and non-technical, needs to be you should stand out that, okay, you are a fourth year student. So that, and then the usual job hunting, which I guess people at college will guide you better about. And then if you want to go for higher studies, the fourth year is when you'll be applying for your university. So good luck for that. But essentially, first year to fourth year, it's a ride. Whoever is in the first year, hopefully this helps. Whoever is not, whoever is like further advanced, if you can pick up like tidbits from this, this is my personal experience. Everything I've written here is what I believe in. So, and it's helped me. So hopefully it can help you as well. Okay. So now the next most important thing is your networking. It does not matter where you go after you graduate, whether you go to another school to study, you move to a different city, you go, I don't know, like you take a job somewhere. You need to network, and networking does not mean messaging someone when you need help. Networking means being up to date with whoever you interact with. There are some people, that they say this person is born with good networking skills. Networking is a lot of work. It is like this quote says, your net worth. Because whether it is professional guidance, it is personal problems, whatever it is, at the end of the day, your family cannot not always be around you. Your friends cannot always be around you, and in situations like that, your network is going to help. So you start networking. You start it. It's never too late to start. So you've got to absolutely pick this up as soon as you can. Okay. Now, So let me now pick up some pieces from my journey, and let me try and fit them here, so you can kind of get a feel of why am I saying what I'm saying. So, like I mentioned, graduated from in 2015 from VIIT, joined ViewClip as a product manager, and then I was like, okay, now what? I had two options. I could continue working in the profile I was working, or I was always interested in studying more and being closer to the data field that I spoke about. So I could choose to pursue some kind of education in that. Now there weren't a lot of people who understood where I was coming from, my ambitions, or just did not. I think data is still a very new field. Very few people today are like, if you compare the ratio of SDEs to data engineers to analysts and those kind of roles, data engineering is kind of niche. And at that point, I realized, okay, I have to go and I have to do my masters and I have to educate myself on this, but who's going to help me? Who's going to answer my questions? Who's going to if I'm not able to do assignments, who will talk to me? Who will help me apply to the right kind of jobs, negotiate on the kind of work I want to do, things like that. So that's why my biggest my biggest weapon in this entire situation was growing my network. So uh, I don't know who you are, but I will look you on LinkedIn and I will find you and I will badger you till I don't get answers. That is the kind of outlook you need to have in your life. And badger here, I'm using in a positive sense. Um, you should never try and spam someone. You should not try and be pushy, but at the same time, it's a skill on how you can get people to help you, and that's what networking is all about. So now what does this whole networking thing entail? Start with your LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn is, for the next 10 years or so, till you're kind of established in the market, it's going to be your biggest weapon. Now, what do you need to keep in mind when it comes to your LinkedIn profile? Your image, it has to be updated with a professional photo. Your hair should be fine, your clothes should be good. You should be looking straight in the camera. It should not be like, Disney World in the back, and and you're just like posing. No, professional. Keep it professional. Talk about yourself in a very in a simplistic but not a boring manner. There's a reason people say that I'm not so attracted to science. That's because not everyone enjoys reading facts about someone or something. What people enjoy is journeys. What people enjoy is stories. So talk about yourself, but make a story out of it so that it becomes a little more entertaining. Then identify potential people who you think you can benefit from in terms of networking, and then invite them left and right. Just keep at it. No matter what you did, highlight your achievements. You got a scholarship, highlighted. The government of Maharashtra gave you, you got above 80%, mention that in your profile. You won a Gandharva ka some small project, mention that in your profile. So anything, you were a runner up, you were just a participant, whatever it is, put that on your profile. If you are a participant, it shows you are curious, you're willing to learn. If you are a winner, people can see the ambition in you. So there is always a plus side to putting all your achievements, or at least what you think are your achievements. So that should be there. And then the most important thing is, you are interacting with so many teachers, so many peers. I don't know, people outside of outside of the VIIT universe that you're talking to. See if you can get recommendations on LinkedIn. And just remember, it's a two-way street. No one is going to spend some time trying to talk good about you if they don't get anything in return, because at the end of the day, everyone's looking out for themselves. So here's what you need to do. You need to take initiative. You need to reach out to someone and say, here, I have written a recommendation for you. I like this about you. As soon as the person sees you've taken the effort, maybe not all, but I can assure you, like, more than 50% of the people will return the compliments back in the form of a recommendation. So always remember, don't ask, first give, so that the other person is aware of the fact that you've put some time, in it, you've invested in him, her, them, you've invested, and then they will try and help you back. So remember the two-way street thing. Then be shameless and ask for referrals. See, the thing about referrals is everyone benefits. The people who refer you get a bonus if you join the company, and if you get the job, you get the job. So referrals is something which you should be shameless about asking, because at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation. So, but what does referral mean? It does not mean, hey, can you get me a job? No, it means, hey, I've been on your website. These are 20 jobs. This is what I love about it. I think I'm a good fit. Here's a short summary of why I'm a good fit. This is a job ID. Can you refer me? So the person knows that, okay, if you have taken the effort to identify how to be referred, then the person who's referring it makes life easy. All they have to go is do a click, enter your name, enter the description, enter the job ID, and done. Right? So do the homework for them. Don't make them do the heavy lifting, because then no one's going to be interested in helping you out. And believe me, I don't know how much it is applicable to like um, to some companies, but in most of them, referrals is the best way of getting hired, because HR receives so many applications. um, it's very hard to like pick from the pack. So what do you want to do? You want to be top of the list. And how will you be top of the list when someone who's already working for the company is referring you, right? So ask for referrals. The next thing is project enhancements. Identify. So those people in your LinkedIn who have reached out to and who have accepted your invite, now is the time to, get something out of it. Now is the time to go and say, hey, this is a project. This is my tech stack, or, this is what I've done. Can you take a look? Can you give me some feedback? So I'll tell you this thing. When someone goes to someone and asks for advice or feedback or something, the other person B, who is the recipient of all this, has this feeling of, I'm important enough that this person asked me. So, it is like it's a psychological thing that they want to help you out in that situation, because there's kind of like a trust relationship that's been established. Utilize that relationship, ask for feedback, in return, give them, give them a recommendation, endorse them on LinkedIn for certain skills, they have things like that. So try and see how you both can benefit from that. But try and get your projects vetted by your teachers, your peers, your LinkedIn connections, your seniors, people like me who are already out in the industry and willing to help, things like that. So get your project enhanced. And of course, if you can get sponsorship. So I remember in my final year, I had built an Android application, which was for accident detection, which basically meant, if you're riding a two-wheeler and you meet with an accident, based off of parameters in the phone, in the gyroscope, it's going to detect if an accident happened and automatically send a message to send a call to 100, and I think the nearest ambulance. So this was my project. But now this was an accident detection project. It was an Android application, which meant I needed a phone. Now the thing is that as a student, you get one phone from your parents and you have to keep it safe. If I wanted to test my application, it meant either I have to be on a bike and drop that phone, or I need to find someone to give me a phone that I can drop and test out my product. And that's where sponsorship came in the picture. That, hey, do you have an old phone? Can I borrow it? If it gets, if as long as you're okay not getting it back and things like that. So that's the kind of relationships that you want to build. Okay. And then just like some generic things, I got my job at ViewClip through a coffee chat. I met the HR over coffee. I told her, hey, listen, I already have a job, but I want to work for your company. Let's meet for coffee. We met for coffee. I took my profile, I sold myself, and then I got the job. So coffee chats, as underrated as it may sound, are real. They help. They've helped me, and I can bet they might help a few of you. So go for those. I mean, coffee is just like a beverage, any dash chats, but do it. Okay, like try and meet them physically or virtually, just so that you can again show that you're really invested in this. Start early, be specific. Don't like go open ended, that hey, I need a job. No, I need a job at so company for so job. Be very, very specific. Stay in touch. It's like I said, it's a two-way street. It's not cool to message only when you need help. It's okay to do it. People will help you, but at the end of the day, if you do it all the time, then it's going to be boy who cried wolf. And no, I mean, people will not be that invested in helping you out. And yeah, lastly, I think the best connections that I have made are in VIIT. I have friends who are in here in the United States who I meet very, very regularly and who are the most important part of my network today and my go-to people for any problems that I have. So this is the time when you can form those bonds and those relationships. So try and look around you and see who's around and just get a feel of who you are studying with, and if you can potentially talk to them and have that relationship with them which can which can last for hopefully a lifetime. Okay, so I'm going to take a pause here. Lots of information. Does anyone have any questions, generic questions related to what I've discussed already? Let's see. If we have someone with a good in our family with a good position, is it appropriate to involve them in a formal networking? Yeah, why not? I mean, as far as I know, that person who's at a good position cannot go to HR and say, hire so and so person, hire Aryan. The person will go to HR and say, hey, I know Aryan. Aryan is good, but the HR will still say, I need to interview Aryan to decide that. So if you can get yourself a referral, sure. But otherwise, it's you. You have to crack the interview. What kind of message should we prefer for staying in contact with great personalities? What is great personalities? What kind of message do you prefer staying in contact with great personalities? Uh, I don't understand. Like, you mean like what kind of a message should you send? Like, hi, how are you types? Okay, I guess we can come to this one at the end. Uh, cool. Um, does anyone have any doubts about the presentation, or can I move forward? Oops, I'm going to move forward. All right. So where are we now? We are now with Game of Thrones. Okay, so as the famous Tyrion Lannister said, once you've accepted your flaws, no one can use them against you. And the reason this is very important is because now is the time that you will be educating and appreciating yourselves. Um, when I say educate and appreciate yourself, so education does not mean a book education. Education means awareness of what is going on around you and appreciating yourself for being in that situation and dealing with things. So now, okay, so now let's come back to my journey. I finished my 3 years at ViewClip. I got some good experience. I applied to some universities. I finished my GRE and my TOEFL exam. I got into University of Washington. And now I have suddenly come from this environment of being protected and having my parents and everyone around me to having nobody around me. This is the time when I realized I need to motivate myself. I need to be aware of my surroundings. I need to know what's happening, um, because that's going to help me at the end of the day. I cannot just call my parents and tell them, hey, I need help. Okay. So, the next step in your career, whether you are finding a job and you're moving out of the city, you are going to, you're giving your some exams in India and you're moving out to a different city in India, or you're coming out to the US, Australia, New Zealand, wherever you want to go. In all these situations, the one thing that is common is you have to look out for yourself. Okay. So now, in this kind of a situation, what did I do? I found myself a job. I had to sustain myself. I couldn't keep asking for money from home. So I had to figure out a way that I can continue to sustain my lifestyle and at the same time have some savings to do what I enjoy doing and yet, complete my education. So the education part was taken care of because you have sponsors, you have scholarships, you have loans that you can take. It's the day-to-day things that need to keep going. And for those things that you haven't been cooking for yourself for a long time, you haven't done cleaning, you haven't done bartan jhadu katka, things like that, and you need to do it. So you need to appreciate yourself, you need to reward yourself and say, okay, good job. It's okay, if you got like 80 out of 100, but you cooked today, that's a big deal. So now these 4 years of engineering, train your body, train your mind to educate yourself outside of books and to start appreciating yourself. Okay. Now there's a life outside school. See, understand, participate, because all of this is going to determine your self-confidence, and your self-confidence is going to determine your future. Okay, so participate spontaneously. Don't be aggressive. Like if someone speaks to you or brings up a topic or just wants to talk to you in general, don't feel the need to give advice all the time. Okay, um, be confident, be a good listener, listen, participate, and try to engage. That way, the more you listen, the more you educate yourself that, okay, these are the kind of situations people deal with. I can also be, in this situation down the line. So I should know how to help this person, and then just hear them, him, her out, and kind of understand. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is, I don't know, do you guys know what is an elevator pitch? Do you guys know what is an elevator pitch? No? Okay, you do. Okay, perfect. So for those of you who don't, if you are stuck in an elevator that is going from the ground floor to some higher floor with the CEO of a company, and you need to go sell yourself, what is that? What are you going to use that 30 seconds for to sell yourself and get a job? That is called an elevator pitch. Elevator, it's self-explanatory. Now, when you talk to people, sometimes you just randomly meet people. You like come across someone, you're walking by the park, and you see someone that you really look up to, and you want to have a conversation, but you don't know where to start. See, that's the kind of situation you want to avoid. You always want to know about yourself, and you should have some things which are on your fingertips. They're, you know them by heart, and that should be your elevator pitch. Whichever stage you are in life, every 5 or 6 months, go stand in front of a mirror, tell yourself that, okay, this are the key things about me. Practice it. Tell your friends, if your mom is in the kitchen, go talk to her and like tell her, okay, this is my elevator pitch, listen and give me feedback. So talk to people, get that elevator pitch vetted by a lot of people, and then just practice it. And then, believe me, you will be so confident that, if the CEO of a company, Sundar Pichai, walks in front of you, you'll be like, listen, Google needs me, and here's why. Okay, so have that pitch ready. Okay, now the next thing, be kind. I'll tell you why I have put this here. I have put this here because when I shifted from Pune and I moved to Seattle initially, I was studying in Seattle. When I moved to Seattle, I was lonely because the people that I knew, the network that I had, the friends that I had made were all in different parts of the world now. I was now relying on a set of strangers who I had never met or spoken to before, and they were kind to me, and that helped me survive. So be that stranger to somebody that they remember you. So be kind. It's always you against you. Don't put yourself up against somebody else. Okay. My mom used to say that all five fingers are not the same. If you are good at something, someone is better than you at it, and someone is not as good as you, and that applies to everything that you do in life. Okay, so be kind, be respectful, and believe me, this kindness will come and help you in the long run, come back to you. It's karma. Okay, and then I always emphasize pursue a hobby. My hobby is chess. I play chess. Like, you give me 10 minutes of free time, I'll open chess.com and I'll start playing chess. So that is my hobby. I love it. I watch videos about it. I follow championships, things like that. That is my hobby. Find yourself a hobby. In school, if you played basketball or whatever, football or something, or you enjoy reading or you enjoy music, whatever it is, 30 minutes a day is a very, very small time from 24 hours that you can dedicate to a hobby, but it is very important for your mental health. Believe me. So pursue your hobby. Now the whole thing about exercising is, I think it is not taken as important as, it's not given the importance it needs. So start exercising. Exercise does not mean go to the gym or like join a class or something. No, it's cool, you can just walk. So I usually, what I do is I try to club it with my hobby. So for example, I also enjoy badminton a lot. So like walk to your badminton court, for example. Badminton in itself is an exercise, but see if you can enhance it. Okay, so try and combine. If you cannot combine, it's cool, but if you can, exercise. Again, very important for your mental health. And like I said, from time to time, reward yourself. uh, Go to Kadubai and eat that vada pav. appreciate yourself and just keep rewarding yourself, from time to time. It's very important. Any questions? Do you want me to speak in, I'm very good in Hindi. Do we want to move the language to Hindi, or is English good with everyone?
No, it is not like to ask you to speak in Hindi. Like they are asking you, ki, how do you improve your English? Uh,
Okay.
yeah, ki,
I
what are the
read. I
ways
read a
to?
lot.
Yeah, yeah, that are the
Okay.
things you will.
I'll
Yeah.
Okay. I'll come back. I'll come back to the whole English thing maybe towards the end of the session. It is 9:47. Okay. Both are fine. Okay, cool. I'll try and be English. Okay, let's move on. So now next steps. Okay. That was enough about my journey. It was enough about motivation and gyan, but we have to be practical. We need to have a plan. Okay. So whether you're whichever year of uh, engineering that you're currently in, you need to know what your next steps are going to be. It's I mean, it's very filmy to say कि अरे with life लेके जाएगी, but no, you have to decide. Uh, it's okay to be spontaneous once in a while, but I think that your career is something you should not be spontaneous about unless and until you're very confused and unless and until you feel engineering तो बस मैंने ऐसे ही ले ली. अगर वो नहीं है दिमाग में, अगर engineering ली है, passion है, enjoy करते हैं, next steps decide करने पड़ेंगे. Okay, so now the reason I have this slide in one place, it's a lot of बहुत text hai in the slide, but the reason I've put it all together is because each one of you in this meeting today is either on the left side or the right side. There could be some who come in both the sides, but you'll be inclined more towards either doing higher studies or you'll be inclined towards finding a job. I don't want this slide, I don't want any slide to be irrelevant for anyone. If you want, I can go into the details of this. This is specific things which I think helped me, that I have tried to note down here, that each one of you would should see how much you can absorb from this. जितना लगता है कि मेरे लिए matter करता है उतना pick up करो, बाकी just it's okay. But a lot of content. This one I would rather that you guys go through yourself because we're running out of time and it'll take too much time to cover this. I'll also cover bits and pieces of this in the questions because I know a lot of questions are either further studies related or for job related. Okay, but remember, working hard is important, but what matters even more is believing in yourself that if I want to do further studies, I will do it. No matter the obstacles, no matter the finances, no matter the, no matter my GPA, no matter anything, my health, I will do it. And the same applies to job hunting. If you want that job, you will give one interview, you'll fail, two interview, you'll fail, three interview, the fourth interview, you will crack. So work hard and believe in yourself. Okay. Does anyone do you guys want me to detail on this slide or should we come back to this slide when we, I can open this slide when we address questions. Is that okay?
I think that will be okay.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. What is this? Okay. End of the Bol Bachan. And now more about the questions. So far, anything related to the presentation that you guys want to elaborate? If not, I think I see a bunch of questions and then I can just pick up from the first one. Cool. Okay. So just going to put back this slide. I actually don't know how to open. Let me try and see if I can. Does a master's degree in data need a specific degree? No, it does not need a specific degree. There is a bunch of degrees around information today. I think some people are pursuing MIS, Management and Information Systems, which is kind of a blend of technical and non-technical. And then there is software development with specialization in data. And then there is data engineering in specific. And then there's also data analysis and analytics courses, also known as what is that? Business
analyst.
I forgot the name. Yeah. I mean, there's like so many names to these degrees. But I think I mentioned this before that at the end of the day, everything comes down to how you nail your interview. So even like I have had classmates who were very interested in guitars, in playing guitars. So they dropped out. They changed their major from information management to music, and then from music they landed a job at Apple as uh, as something to do with some of the applications that Apple owns. So I mean, your journey is completely how you decide. If you feel that you're in the wrong specialization, it's not late, because there's always electives, there's always changing your major, things like that. So there's nothing, then you can always change. So there's no such thing as a specific degree for a certain job. Everyone who works hard, does a bit of lead code, prepares for interviews well, can clear the interview. So I hope that answers your question, Samruddhi. Okay, next. Digvijay has asked, what is the roadmap towards a good placement? The roadmap towards a good placement is third year, identify what does good placement mean. For some people, 3.5 lakhs at Infi is good. For some people, 12 lakhs at Amazon is good. For some people, 45 lakhs ka package is also good. So define what is good for you. Where do you see yourself? Identify companies. Obviously, the higher the better when it comes to money, but there's more than money. There is work culture. There's the kind of people, the number of employees who work, mentorship that you get. Look at all those aspects when you decide a company. Don't jump at the opportunity to interview, but don't jump at the first offer letter you get. Try and get 3-4 so you can choose. So that's about how to define what could be a good placement. Roadmap: third year, do your research, figure out where you want to be, what are those companies you want to work for, see the top skills that they need. I can speak more because I'm from CS. I can speak more from that aspect. Which programming? So although they say that a lot of companies, when they interview, they're programming agnostic, which means कौन सा भी language में coding कर सकते हैं, but they actually once you join, you realize that they are more focused on a particular language. So is it Java, is it Python, is it Scala, whatever it is, identify that language, which is identify a superset of skills that the companies you want to join are doing, and all this should happen in your third year. By end of the third year, at least 5 or 6 aptitude tests, check. At least 5 or 6 companies that you want and what they need, check. At least 50 questions on lead code, check. This is for CS MEC students, or like, I don't know if there's anyone from other branches, but figure out what is the lead code equivalent for you guys. Lead code is a platform where you can go and test yourself on, there are questions, easy, medium, and hard, and you can go and test yourself. And there's also some courses that you can do on those sites. So third year, check, finish those questions. Fourth year, day one of fourth year, apply everywhere that you can think of. Start studying for campus placements. See where you stand with the campus placements, and also off campus. Some companies don't come on campus. So see if you want to go off campus, if someone's paying you a better package, if someone's giving you a better work profile off campus, identify that. And then connect the dots, really. So I hope that answers your question on what is the roadmap for a good placement. But at the end of the day, it's all you. It's all your hard work, to be honest. Okay, from where have I completed my MS? I have done my MS from the University of Washington in Seattle. I know I was a bit vague in my intro, but this is the logo of my university. It's University of Washington, in short, UW. What courses other than academics should be done? Well, that's a good question. What courses other than academics should be done? So here, what I can tell you is the courses that I did. You can, Nishant, can you tell me what specialization are you from? Nishant, computer. Okay, very good. So even I was from CS. The courses that I did outside of academics, one, Java, advanced Java, very important. Knowing object-oriented programming, very, very important. Then I joined LinkedIn Learning. I realized that in data, it is all about object-oriented programming, but then some languages and the libraries they provide are just better in certain fields. Like for example, in data, they say Scala and Python are really leading the industry at the moment. So came back, did Python training, which I unfortunately didn't have at VIIT. I don't know, the curriculum might have changed now, but that was when I was there. What else did I do? Then bunch of SQL. SQL, I cannot emphasize enough that if you are even closely working with the data field, SQL has to be on your fingertips. And when I say SQL, it's not like select star or group by statements. It has to be advanced SQL queries. It has to be windowing functions. It has to be subqueries, things like that. It has to be query optimization, those things. So I did a ton of SQL courses, and currently I am focused on courses in big data. So I think the learning experience is lifelong. Even today, although I'm already working, I have fixed set of duties that when I go into work every day, I still feel I don't know enough, so I need to keep doing courses to keep myself updated. So I think once you decide the company you're working for and the path you want to take, finding courses should not be a challenge. All right, let's move on. Let's see. Okay, if we have someone enough, where did it go? I think we already discussed this family wala question. Okay, now what kind of message should we prefer for staying in contact with great personalities? So again, I don't agree with the great personalities part. I think you should be in touch with everybody because, like I said, all five fingers are not the same. There is no such template or message. It's about just a generic hi, how are you? Do you want to meet up for some time? Talk about generic stuff. Keep yourself updated on what your peers or whoever you're talking to is doing, and if you can. And if there are people who you can't interact with personally, like for example, you want to stay in touch with the CEO of your company, just for an example, you can't really tell them, hey, let's go for coffee, right? So in that kind of a situation, first introduce yourself, because you are one in a big pool of people and you need to stand out with those kind of people. So introduce yourself. Every few weeks or months, tell the other person that, hey, I'm enjoying my work here. This is the project I'm doing. This is amazing. Here's what I like about it. Here's what I see myself getting better at. They might reply, they might not reply, but just keep it going from your end. If after a couple of messages they don't respond, kind of get the message that maybe they're too busy to get back to you. But I can assure you that when you send someone a message, it directly or indirectly reaches them. So even if they're not responding, they're seeing it and they're registering your name. So it should be fine. And like I said, as for the message, try and customize it based on the kind of person you are talking to. Did I do my master's? No, I did not do my master's in CS because I did not want to delve into all of the fields. I had chosen my specialization as data, and information management and the courses at University of Washington completely catered to what I wanted to do. So when I say I specialized in data, I mean I specialized in business intelligence. All right, which year did I give GRE? I graduated in 2015, but I worked for 3 years, remember? I didn't directly come here to the States. I flew to the States in 2018 in August, and I gave my GRE in April 2017. So 1 year, 3 months before I flew. So, okay, I'll tell you why. They usually say you give it about 6 or 8 months before you are ready to fly. So I wanted to come in the fall of 2018. I chose April because if I messed up, which I was hoping I wouldn't, but if I messed up my GRE, I wanted to keep time for a second attempt. So I wanted my second attempt, or like my last attempt, to happen before August, basically 1 year before I flew. So that's how I kind of backtracked and decided when I wanted to give GRE. Okay, then. Okay, now 2 questions. So Rohan is saying how to improve English communication skills for interview. See, Rohan, if you are coming to a market where everyone speaks English, for example, in the United States, it's not an option. But I do know people whose English is not the best, but they have cracked a bunch of interviews in Hindi or Marathi or their language. So I think when you go in for the interview, if it's happening in India, if this is completely, if it's happening in India, I don't think English communication should be a challenge. Um, I can give in writing that you're in VIIT, you stand somewhere and you understand and can speak English. What I sense from the question is that you're not confident in English. If you aren't confident in it, so that elevator pitch, remember, we go in front of the mirror and we talk. Do that. Start, write down something about yourself. Make it funny. Don't make it boring. Practice it, practice it, practice it. Believe me, you will only start thinking you're a good English speaker by the end of it. Even if that doesn't help, reading the newspaper helps a lot. So I don't know the newspaper you get at home, but see if you can subscribe to an English, like a Indian Express or Times of India or anything else. And you don't just need to read the news, just read Pune Times or just read the gossip ones also. Just read content in English. And see, a lot of people say read books. Now, the thing about books is you don't know the story beforehand. So the thing is, when you go reading it, it gets boring because you're not able to imagine it in your head. But if you read something like which is in the newspaper, like, Modi did something. If you read that in English, in your head, you can map that English better because you already kind of know the story. So try and read English content which you already have context to, and then that's going to help you for sure. So talk in front of, like, talk to yourself, talk to people around you who you're not afraid, who will not judge you for your English. Read things which you kind of have a context on so you can relate better. Watch English movies. It never fails. And I think it's gradual with time. As your confidence increases, you should be fine. Okay, I hope that answers your question. How to improve soft skills, Vaibhav. How to improve soft skills. So, I mean, here's the thing. When I went back, like, what year are you in, Vaibhav? What year of engineering are you currently in?
Well, Mansi, for that, our college provide, like our TNPCL provide a training session for soft skills.
Oh, there you
Before,
go.
before setting for a placement. Yeah.
Perfect. So, Vaibhav, I think whoever spoke right now is your point of contact for that question. All right, so I'm going to move on. Yes, Hindi, both are fine. Being in first, it's difficult to manage so many things silently and productive at the same time. What do we manage? How do we manage? I mean, it's not a lot, to be honest. अगर पहले से दिमाग में लगा लोगे कि अरे बहुत सारा है तो फिर कैसे होगा? You should say हाँ ठीक है हो जाएगा. Like, be optimistic and know that you can do it, and just tell yourself that I'll do it. And when you make up your mind, it happens. So honestly, I think this is like a mental barrier more than an actual time barrier. You're a first year student. Studies are, I know that academics can get hard, but believe me, I think that I don't. Do you guys get that 15, 20 days ka PL before exams? I don't know. Do you all? What is this? Okay, no one answered. Like, okay, I'll tell you. For me, I used to get a PL 2011 to 2015, 4 years. Twice a year we used to have exams. Before every exam, we had 20 days ke aspas ka chutti. Okay, now that chutti is good to utilize for my exams. I think the syllabus changed recently, and you might have like some mid-sem exams or something. But I'm pretty sure that like thoda bahut chutti uske pehle agar milta ho, then good for us, right? So wo chutti, utilize it, every minute of it, and just focus on academics during that time. Us time it's okay if you don't pursue your hobby, or you don't go to Gandharva and things like that. But so out of 365 days, even if you give 200 days to academics, you have 165 days to do something productive with your life. So if you can't do something every day, like even when you go to a gym, they say रोज gym आना हो पाएगा नहीं हो पाएगा, it's fine, 3-4 दिन आ जाओ काफी है. So whatever ज्ञान I gave you, if you can apply it even to half of your week, you should be fine. So at any point, if you get overwhelmed कि अरे सब नहीं manage हो रहा है, ठीक है, Monday को ये करते हैं, Tuesday को ये करते हैं, Wednesday को ये करते हैं, ऐसे करके हो लो, ठीक है? So I think you should be fine. Vidya. Yes, Payal, any questions? Okay. How do you deal with change in environment when you were in Seattle? So when I moved to Seattle, my change in environment, how did I deal with it? I dealt with it I worked at Starbucks. So I decided to close things that affected me. Like, I decided to shut myself out and मैंने Starbucks में like drinks like I became a barista. So मैंने register पे काम करना start किया and मैंने coffee के exams like मैंने coffee के exact exams लिखे हैं and things like that. So what I did was I put my mind in something productive so that the change in environment would matter less, because by the time I would go home I would be so tired because of my day and things like that, that the change in environment suddenly did not matter anymore. So the best way to get out of your comfort zone is to get engrossed in something else which is going to make you forget negative things. So that's how I dealt with it. And then, I mean, network and talk to people and play some board games and things like that, and just you keep yourself distracted. Yeah. Can you speak more about the coffee chat you mentioned? Coffee chat with HR, Atharva, like how to go about it, how to approach, and also what was the chat? Okay, cool. Okay, so now here's what I'll do. I'll give you an example of what I did. When I got placed from VIIT, I got placed in Infibeam. Infibeam gave me a great offer, but unfortunately, they gave me a job location of Ahmedabad. So I requested them if I can get it changed to Pune. Excuse me, to Pune, but they said they can't. So I had two options: go to Ahmedabad or find a job in Pune, because I wanted to stay in Pune. My roots were in Pune. So what did I do? Um, I identified which HRs I want to talk to. Usually, the HRs you can have coffee chats with are either startups or mid-sized companies, like companies with around 500 to 1,000 employees, or maybe a little more than that. But not like, like Infi, Wipro, and like Google, Amazon level HRs will not go for coffee with you, is what I can tell you right now. So now you know who to target, you know the HRs you have to speak to. है ना? Now is the time you decide a set of questions. Okay, so this is the HR. Learn that company up. What does the company do? What is the name? The name of the CEO is so important, I cannot tell you. What is the CEO, or like what is his name? What is their core competency? Identify all of that. Map it against your skills. Identify ye questions पूछने HR को. Slowly slide in the conversation of, are you hiring? And after that, HR will get a hint that the person is interested, not interested. Carry a copy of your resume, whether it is virtual or it is in person. It's COVID, so more likely to be virtual, but carry a copy of your resume, and carry a copy of any one project that you have done which you're very proud of and you know in and out. Okay, so for example, for the longest time, my BE project, I was extremely proud of it. So what did I do? I took color printouts, nice high quality color printouts of my BE project. I had the application installed. I was still using that Android phone. Just the accident detect hota tha. I was carrying it with me. And when I met, I said, hey, listen, I can also show you the work I've done. So, they say na ki, what you see, you tend to remember much, like you tend to remember really well, right? So try and show them aspects of your life. So about reaching out to about how to approach HR, identify कौन सा HR available है. कम से कम एक follow up तो सबको डालना ही डालना है. Okay. After that, your resume, which has to be spot on and one page only. Your best piece of work in color printout, which you know in and out, and elevator pitch. ये सब ready होकर go to the HR, and always try and use the first 5 to 10 minutes to let the HR speak. When the samne wala person gets a chance to speak na, they feel engaged. But if you start speaking and you start selling yourself right away, they'll lose interest. Okay, so give them a chance to speak, and after that, like I said, slowly slide in the conversation of opportunities kya hai, mujhe bata do, and I'm open to this, and be transparent, be candid about it when that part comes. ठीक है? Atharva, what language were you good at in undergrad? In VIIT, Java language, I'm guessing coding language, and now currently I work with Python day in and day out. How do you network that it's effective for a long time? You follow up. Even when you don't have work, you follow up. You message and you say, hi, how are you doing? Long time no see. Okay, let me tell you this joke. My friend, so I'm going to type this here, like, Can anyone tell me what this means? Anyone, just a wild guess? Can you see? I've put a message in the chat. Can anyone tell me what you think this means? A random text? Yeah, it's random. It's spam. Okay. Okay, I'll tell you what this means. This means this. Okay. So engage, like, make your network excited to talk to you. Find out random things. Like this is what my friend told me. He's like he just like randomly sent me AB one day, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then he's like, long time no see. So this is how you keep your network engaged. You think out of the box, and you be shameless. Okay, and follow up. Even if you don't have work, follow up. Okay, and I'm sorry if that was a bad joke, but it's a true story. Okay. How do you network that it's effective? What is EDC? You guys don't know EDC? That's sad. Entrepreneurship Development Cell, guys. EDC, is EDC still
Actually,
active in
what has
VIIT?
happened? Yes, it is active. Actually, many clubs are active, but the problem is that
Huh.
everything is online. So even the orientations were online, and everyone was bored attending all the
Oh.
orientations. So
Yeah,
many
I
of
am
them
so
have missed
sorry.
many good clubs. Like they don't know about, most of them don't know about NSS, EDC, Rotaract. They have missed on much
Oh
of stuff.
no. I have to say this, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for boring you with another virtual session today. And I'm sorry you don't know what EDC is. EDC is like the best club there is, guys. Come on. It's like
Yeah,
go
actually, I'm
today
also
and
having
find out
the
what is
best
EDC
memories
and
of
join
college.
it. Like I'm a diehard EDC member. I was the vice president of EDC in my third year. And EDC has shaped my life, my confidence, my ability to speak in front of an audience, understanding what entrepreneurship means. It stands for Entrepreneurship Development Cell. Here, let me type that out. I hope I got the spelling of entrepreneurship right. Entrepreneurship, I think that's what it is. Okay, so for any one of you who is not interested in that higher studies versus job wala thing, and you guys are into finding your own startup or starting something of your own, that's the place you want to go. Okay, that place will help you understand how funding is, how you get funding, how to talk to people, how to approach businessmen, things like that. So even if you don't want to start your own company, there are certain skills. Someone asked the question about soft skills. Go to that session that VIIT holds, but also go to cells like perception and EDC and things like that. And that's where you will learn, you'll practice soft skills day in and day out. I know COVID has been very cruel. I feel bad. Okay, let's see. What is EDC? Compute? Where was I? Which language? How effective? Yeah, okay. Can you suggest some SQL courses? I don't know them at the top of my head, but I had done some research and I've done them. I've completed them through, I think, Coursera or LinkedIn Learning. So they're on my LinkedIn profile. So if you go ahead, Nandan, and you just check out either my profile or just drop me a message after this meeting, and I can share those names with you. Is it same for IT field? IT and CS students are same opportunity everywhere? Yes. It is complete. If opportunity means job, if I understand your question correctly, if you mean getting a job, whether you're IT or you're CS or you're ENTC, if you can crack the interview, you're in. Okay, it's the same. The money is the same, the work is the same, the profile is the same. It's all about knowing the concepts. Sometimes an ENTC engineer can know more about Java than an actual CS engineer. So bear that in mind.
Okay.
Can
What
you
about
repeat
mechanical
question?
engineer? Like if some mech guy is
No,
working
that's a
at
good question. I don't
actually
know.
I got
Sorry.
placed at Accenture.
There you go. See who's speaking? Nandan?
Yeah.
Nandan?
Yes, it's Nandan.
Congratulations, Nandan.
Yeah,
Congrats on
thank
your
you.
job. Yeah. See, we have a classic example that it's the same opportunity everywhere. How did you manage finances? How did I manage finances? Okay. I was lucky. I had an elder sister who was already in the United States, so she sponsored a big chunk of my education. But I had also taken a small loan. So I worked for 3 years, guys. So I had savings. So I used my savings, and then I took a small loan from Credila. I'm not advertising Credila. I'm not advertising any loan company, but don't be afraid of taking a loan if you are passionate about higher education. There is a bunch of opportunities outside of India as well. And if you feel that you want to explore them, finances should be the last thing on your mind. There is, like, when you start moving forward in that path, loan companies and various financing options will come up. In my opinion, your priority always has to be getting a scholarship. Try and find a scholarship, assistantship, a part-time job, anything that you can do that will help you save money. After that, see whatever you can jodo from your pocket money or whatever savings you have, and then talk to banks, talk to your parents, see your collateral versus non-collateral, kaun sa type of loan le sakte hai, and then figure out that. Yeah. Thanks for better explanation of my question. You're welcome, ma'am. Okay, now you don't get a preparatory leave. So you just like have exams without any chutti.
Yeah, right
Wow.
now
Okay.
we came under autonomy, so it's all good.
Oh man. Okay. I mean, come on. If you are no longer under University of Pune, guys, your life is half easy. We had the real deal. I mean, I'm sorry, I did not mean to compare. I was just joking there, but it's unfortunate you don't get a preparatory leave. If you don't get a PL, then I guess your time management, it changes a bit. I think um, you need to plan your time a little better. You need to jot down what part of the day or what part of the week you will be giving academics versus something else. Be better with your organization skills and your planning skills, and then you should be fine in balancing your activities. Okay. What was your job before going for masters? I was a product manager with a company called ViewClip. The product is View. So if you go to view.com, it's basically like a Netflix, but the kind of content is more catered towards Asian content. When I say Asian, I mean Korean, Chinese, Indonesian, Malaysian, things like that. So that kind of content is with its headquarters in Singapore. And I was managing the content management system, which basically meant what content item goes where on the web page is what I was owning.
Yeah, I would like to ask, you said you were a product manager. So how did you land a job of product manager as a fresher? Because I think it's a high level post.
um, yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. When I interviewed, I went through 5 interviews, and each of them was within a different team. So I did 2 software development teams. I did one product management team. I did one content management team, and I did one analyst team. At the end of the interview, so this was after the coffee chat I had with the HR. So when I told her I'm interested in everything, she said, "Okay, I'm going to set you up with everything," which she did. She was true to her word. She set me up with all kinds of opportunities. And then at the end of it, out of the 5 teams, 4 teams were ready to take me, and one team was not ready. So of the 4 teams, because there were 4 opportunities, it came to me that what do you want to do? So I said I want to do the product management. So I mean, I think that's the benefit of not working for some company that has over 10,000 employees. You have more choices, and I guess I was lucky to some extent over there.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your job before going to masters? Done? Where have you done your have you done? So in our, it was mandatory. Like, you guys can do your project alone.
No,
We
right
had to
now
do it in
also
a
it is
group.
mandatory to have like 2 or more people in a group.
Okay. Yeah, same. So I had my group. I had a set of people I used to talk with day in and day out, and we were together since I think first or second year of engineering. And I think by second year we had kind of figured that we are going to do a project together. So that's how it happened. And then when it came to sponsorship, I don't know about the other departments, but in the CS department, I used to talk to Vanzale ma'am very frequently, and she told me about a company called Maven Systems. that was looking for students for the BTech project. So she put in like on behalf of our team, she put in our request, and then we got approved. I think Maven Systems interviewed us, not really interviewed, but like spoke to us, and then we got the project with them. And then it was 4 of us who kind of worked together with our mentor at Maven Systems. That's how my BTech project went. Okay. Spam, long time no see. Oh, slang 100. A little. I know it's lame. What can I say? I'm not very witty. COVID has been cruel. EDC, okay. For IT and CS, higher, yes, I've already answered. How did you shortlist your universities and courses for MS? How did I shortlist my universities? Atharva, when I decided to do my MS, I think I had 2 things on my mind. The first thing was the electives that you get, because every university has core courses that you cannot escape. And more often than not, they're very lame. They are like leadership or something, or just like read a book and case study and things like that. So those are mandatory and everyone has to go through them. And then there's electives where you can really choose what you want to do with your career. So through electives, so how did I start off? I started by first finding the top 100 universities. From the top 100, I identified who have specializations in business intelligence. I think it came down to, I think 25 or 30. And then it's not very difficult to go through 30 universities ka website. Like you can do it in 2 or 3 days. Go through their website, see their electives, be absolutely sure that the electives align with your career goals. So that's one. The second one was I wanted to sustain myself. It was very important that I get a job, a part-time job. Like I said, I worked at Starbucks for a long time. So while I was studying, to sustain myself. So which universities of those had better opportunities of giving part-time jobs? That's how I shortlisted, and then I got a list of 10. I ranked them in order. I saw, and then I just applied to, I think, 7. And then UW was top of my list. It was ambitious for me. I got it and I just went with it. Like sometimes you need to ask Keeners, and then particular, you can throw some light on that. I mean, what's the challenge? You identify people on LinkedIn who are going to the university, have been, or can tell you about the university. Don't keep the conversation open-ended. Ask your specific questions ki part-time jobs ke baare mein pucho, money ke baare mein pucho, courses ke baare mein pucho, professors ke baare mein pucho, because if you want an assistantship, which essentially means, so India may like, the teachers teach and then they only check out. I don't know how it is today, but my time pe, they only check the papers. In the US, the teachers teach and the assistants check the papers. I wanted to be that assistant because it's an elite job among the student community. So I wanted that job. So find out if teachers are giving out assistantships. These are the kind of questions you want to ask your seniors or like people who are studying there, and then also make a decision. Okay. Okay, now you said you did part-time while studying. How did you balance it with your studies and daily chores? How did I balance it? So I used to cook for 3 days at a time, and I used to freeze food for 2 days, which is not healthy, guys, not recommended, but I didn't have an option, so I did it. I was working at Starbucks. One of the perks of working at a cafe is free coffee and free food. So, I mean, at least when I was on my shift, my food was taken care of. I did laundry like once in 2 weeks. So like Sunday to Sunday kar liya, and it was managed. And then I'm a night owl. I'm more productive at night than I'm in the day. So I used to try and do my chores, my cooking, my Starbucks ka job, and all non-academically productive things in the day. And then raat ko have a nice cup of coffee, sit with my academics for 3-4 hours, and then call it a night. And I specifically did this in the library because if you're at home, that bed is going to call you and you're going to sleep. But if you're in the library, you can't sleep. So library, and bas manage ho gaya. Okay, cool. I think that's the end of it.
We have few questions in Q&A.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Okay. Vidya is saying being in first year it's difficult to manage. I think I've answered that once. I'll move on. What is the package between USA and India for AWS? Okay, I don't know the salaries in India, to be honest, for AWS. I know that the salaries in India when I worked as a product manager are, I mean, So here's the thing, before you look at package difference, realize that when you move to a country like the US, your cost of living is going up by 5 times. If you can sustain in 20,000 rupees in India, you will need over a lakh to sustain in the US for a basic lifestyle. This does not include your car, your your eating out, your fancy habits, your ladies ke liye parlor jana and all that. No, it's not. So um, your cost of living goes up. If you eliminate the cost of living element and just talk about savings, then you can then it's safe to say that you will save a lot more if you are working in the United States. But let me add a disclaimer here. The US is known as the world's biggest IT hub to some extent. I live in the Bay Area, the Silicon Valley. It is known for having the best jobs, and like it's the IT hub, right? Now, if I go to Canada, or if I go to Europe, or if I go to Australia or New Zealand, the package difference will the gap between the difference reduces. Why? Because those countries are offering an excellent lifestyle. They are offering an excellent work-life balance and therefore a little less money. US is offering a decent work-life balance, not the best, but good money. So, I mean, honestly, after you decide what matters to you the most, uh, anywhere anywhere outside of Asia, you will end up saving more money. Let's talk about savings, not about packages. Savings will be more, but that is only when you start your career. For the first 5 or 6 years, yes. After the 6th or 7th year, I know people who are earning almost as much in India as they were doing in the United States. So first 5 or 6 years, quite a bit of difference. As your age increases, the gap reduces, because as your age increases, your confidence to ask more money from a company increases. Therefore, your difference reduces. Okay. What do we start learning from FYCS department? What is FYCS department? First year, and you are from CS department, Anushka? That's a vague question. You can choose what you want to learn depending on where you want to go in life, right? So I'll come back to that, Anushka, if you can just type out a little more details on what you're looking for in the answer. What is the job of a program analyst? Okay, so here's the thing. There is product manager, project manager, program manager. Product manager owns a product. Project manager takes care of timelines. Program manager takes care of processes. When you are an analyst, so if you remove the word manager and plug in analyst, you have product analyst, project analyst, and program analyst. Anything related to the data of a product, project, or program, that you need to check. For example, in program analysis, if you have set up, how do I put this? If you have set up a process, how effective, what were some metrics before the process was set up? For example, how many human hours were being logged in the system, versus after the process, so many human hours. So those kind of analysis, because of using a program, is what a program analyst would do. Again, my interpretation is this: different companies have different definitions of a job. The same title in two different companies could mean two completely different things. So I think, what is the job of program analyst? I think you should attach the name of the company and then go and read the job description. The job description, more often than not, is the most accurate representation of the job. What courses should I do for career in data analytics and business analytics? Anything analytics related, whether you know anything else or not, doesn't matter. SQL is the most important thing. Your SQL has to be advanced, like advanced. How can we prepare for cloud related jobs? You can prepare for cloud related jobs by getting exposed to the cloud. I have not worked with Azure. I haven't worked with GCP, but I have worked with AWS in a lot. AWS offers students a free trial, I think for 1 year or something. So sign up, check out the profiles, see the projects you are doing at VIIT. See if you can kind of like get any project along the lines of the cloud. See if you can do a BE project that uses cloud related services, and you should be fine. So I think it's more about finding that starting point, and that starting point should be a project. Try and see if you can talk to teachers at VIIT, or if you can find a mentor for your BE project who works in a cloud related job. He or she, because once you have some use cases, you would know how to prepare for, you would know more about the cloud. And once you know more about the cloud, you can start applying to those kind of jobs. But yeah, AWS does offer, I think GCP and Azure also offer um, some student related discounts or something. Do you guys know what is Azure and GCP and everything? AWS stands for Amazon Web Services, GCP is Google Cloud Platform, Azure is Microsoft Azure. Okay, three, and I think Oracle is also pretty big. Like these are like 3 or 4 biggest cloud service providers in the IT industry. Okay, now from a job point of view, where do I start learning from now? Very vague question. I have given a lot of yarn today. I'm pretty sure the answer in my statements is hidden for your, the answer to this question is hidden there. So if you've been listening, Anushka, you might have gotten a better idea. But I think when it comes to applying to jobs in India, at least, your aptitude has to be spot on, because I think any company will ask you for an aptitude test. Pakki baat hai. And look at the JD. If it asks for programming skills, then practice a little bit of easy and medium level questions in LEET code. Do you guys know what is LEET code? LEET code.
Yeah, I know
Do you
that.
know what is HackerRank, HackerEarth? You know, right? Okay, so like
Yeah.
HackerRank, HackerEarth, LEET code, something. That's your starting point. So that's where you start learning from. And if you're in your first or second year, though, you have hit the jackpot, because you have 2 years to practice on those platforms. And believe me, every company asks questions from one of these 3 platforms. So if you have these questions done, if you are looking for CS related jobs, graphs and trees are graphs and trees, data algorithms and structures, three, 4 things you need to have on your fingertips if you want to clear those jobs. And if you're going in the data side, then SQL also needs to be advanced. So those, I think, because soft skills and communication skills, you evolve over time. Start with your technical, because that usually is the one where we kind of, how do I put this? We find it more challenging. Okay. Let's see. I think I answered. Have I answered all the questions? Is there anyone else who's asked any questions that I've missed?
Well, Mansi, can I add something to the question, like for the job point of view? Like,
go for it.
Yeah, according to me, like it should not be the priority to go like looking for a particular job profile in first year. Like do the things you are interested in. Just don't go for like कि मुझे ये job चाहिए, Amazon में चाहिए. Just don't. Just do the things which you are interested in. I think that's why I landed job at Accenture. I didn't even prepare for the anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Nandan
it.
is your go-to people. Nandan is, guys, direct your questions to Nandan. He's good at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for adding to that, Nandan. I think that's very important. I'm old, so I guess I've forgotten that part.
No, that is not like that. Actually, I'm in connection with many alumni. They only like told me this thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
good to know.
that's why.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Atharva has asked, I'm in the first year, but I struggle on HackerRank. How many times I'm looking at solutions on how to improve? It's fine. Honestly, I think you're in your first year. I'm guessing from your question that you are a CS student. Don't start with the hard ones or the medium ones yet. Also, because you're in your first year, I think your introduction to graph and trees usually, I don't know how it is right now, but in our case, we got introduced to complex data structures in our second year. So till your second year, you know what you can do? Focus on the basic structures, focus on arrays and strings, focus on memory allocation, things like that, which I think, what is that, Yashwant Kanetkar, let us see. So you try and practice questions in C and CPP from basic books. That should also be fine. And then that should be enough to go through the easy questions on HackerRank or LEET code or whatever. And then second year onwards, what you can do is you can structure your questions in this fashion ki college mein jab topic padhayenge na, उसके साथ वो lead code कर लो. So I guess your concepts will be better. That's one suggestion that I can give. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone's capacity to absorb things is different. Absolutely, one thing that I suggest is revise karte raho. Like, aaj question oh solve ho gaya, very good. No, solve it tomorrow and again third day, so that the fourth day you're confident. Then you can actually say yes, I've done it. So try and be repetitive also with your questions. And it's okay to look at solutions once in a while. If it helps you grow, it's fine. Okay, what is the ideal roadmap for a product-based company? Again, very vague question. Don't leave the questions open-ended, guys. Be specific. Thank you. It was informative. I guess, I mean, I've tried to answer as much as I could. I also know we're running out of time, and I'm around. I mean, you can message me on LinkedIn if you want, or you can send me an email. Let me go back here. So that's my email and that's my LinkedIn. I'm very active on both of them. So if you have any questions which I haven't answered, just shoot me a message here. Cool. All right. Can you paste in the chat box? Yes, of course I can. What? Okay, let's see. Let's try and copy this. There you go. Okay, and then thank you. It was informative. You're most welcome, guys. I'm happy to help you guys down the line if you need anything. Yeah, let me know. And thank you, Alumni Association, for setting this up. I think this was a very well set up session. It made life easy for me. Yep, thank you. How do I stop sharing? Am I sharing? Have I stopped sharing?
Yeah, just stop sharing. Mayank, you can continue.
Yes, ma'am. So firstly, I would like to thank ma'am on behalf of VIIT Alumni Association for contributing your valuable time and guidance to us. It was an insightful session and I am sure you all very much enjoyed it. Special thanks to all the participants for attending this session and making it successful and very much interactive. It was great talking with you all. On this note, we would like to conclude the session. Thank you very much, ma'am, and thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a really great session. And though final years were not, but I think the fourth year students like me and Nandan, even it was informative for us too, though we have landed our jobs and everything. But as a starter, it was really good. And do you think your jokes were lame? I think they were really good. Like all the memes that you add and AB, that was totally new for us. So I think we all should research on that that thing a little more.